Okay, and we're recording Namaste Mamas in the library and Namaste Mamas in Facebook, wherever you are, or even in the maternal app, which is coming soon. Just a little heads up. Our intention for our prenatal yoga class this morning is to embrace the affirmation of loving your body and loving your baby, those two things happening at the same time. And Stephanie was just doing a really good job of articulating that frustration or that kind of anxiety that can show up throughout pregnancy and postpartum, where you're just kind of feeling fat or feeling maybe like I'm putting too much weight on, or maybe, and you're just kind of questioning your body. When really, like, this is the time where the universe wants us to surrender and just love our body and love it however it needs to be loved. That might mean eating ice cream at midnight. It might mean going for a walk and burning some calories, but then taking a nap afterwards to replenish your energy. I don't know. What does love mean for you, for your body? And that requires us to tune in to our body and listen and ask it what it wants so we can show it some love, because it's doing some pretty enormous, amazing things right now. And we all know that. We can remind ourselves of that. And that's what Stephanie was saying too, is just like, we have these thoughts come into our mind and we can immediately address them and say, no, I'm building a baby right now. But they're still there. They're still there, and they're still legitimate thoughts. We're allowed to worry about these things. So we shouldn't dismiss those thoughts. We should honor them, because everything counts, all of it. Everything counts. All right, so let's sit nice and comfy, whatever that means for you, and check in with where your pelvis is. Maybe rocking back and forward a little bit, like lifting the tailbone and then lifting the pubic bone a few times, so that you can kind of feel for that neutral pelvis and feel length through your spine. And close your eyes and begin to tune into your breath. Breathing through your nose if you can. As you breathe in, feel length through your spine and the crown of your head feeling light. As you breathe out, can you tune into your Muladhara chakra, your pelvis, your perineum? Feel it grounding and softening towards the floor. Inhaling length in the spine, feeling a tiny bit taller, feeling that tingle at the back of your neck as your crown of your head gets a little bit taller. And exhaling, feeling for your pelvis softening against the ground. Keep doing this breathing. Length up the spine as you breathe in, relaxing as you breathe out. Let your shoulders drop. Let your chin tuck in slightly. Let your eyelids be light. Let your tongue be relaxed. Your jaw, your ears. My 6-year-old had beautiful wisdom to share with me the other day, where she described falling asleep, and she said, "Mummy, last night it felt like I was melting into the bed." And that's exactly how I want you to feel right now, that you feel light and connected to the universe above you, but that the parts of your body connected with the ground feel soft, feel like they're merging or melting into the floor beneath you. You can bring your hands to your belly. Let's say a hello to baby. I'm sure we've already said hello today, but let's say another hello. And as we take our breath in, can we breathe light into our womb space? Sending love, sending prana, sending sparkly energy towards our baby. As you breathe out, can you visualize that sparkly energy coming back from baby into your heart, into Anahata chakra, maybe even bringing your hand to that center space near your sternum. One hand on baby, one hand on your heart. And let's just state this affirmation: I love my body and I love my baby. Let's move to hands and knees, please. Patting your knees if you're on a hard surface, please. And just with those eyes still closed, can you begin swaying, moving your body back and forward or side to side, however it feels good to you right now? Can you let your belly relax? We like to hold our bellies in. We've been told to do that our entire life. So as you relax your body, can you relax your belly without letting the spine kind of arch? Let's come down to our forearms, please. Once you're on your forearms, you can clasp your hands together and rock forward slightly so your weight goes onto your forearms, and then rock back towards your heels just as far as your belly will allow, maybe widening your knees a little. And gently stretching shoulders and your upper back as you rock back and forward. Keep belly relaxed, but try and keep your spine straight in neutral without letting it arch. See if you can synchronize your breath with the movement back and forward. And once you're forward again, bring your hands, forearms so that they're parallel with each other now. And maybe bring your knees out a little wider, and we'll do some cat-cow, arching the spine, rounding and dropping the tailbone and the head, and then lifting the tailbone, spreading the collarbones. After you arch your back the next time, we'll come back to neutral and then settle into child's pose. Knees out wide, toes touch. Relax your belly. Lift your elbows off the ground and creep your fingers forward a little more if you can. Breathe into the sides of your ribs so that you can feel your body expanding laterally, horizontally. Not just up and down, but out to the sides. Lift your head, please, and just walk about 10% to the left with your hands. Just 10% if we're not going all the way to the left, just a little bit. And then settling the head back on the ground. We're kind of going to work our way through kind of 10% at a time, a couple of breaths in each position. So lifting the head again, another 10% over to the left, and then head back down. Expand those ribs as you breathe in. Relax as you breathe out. Lift the head and 10% more to the left if you can. Creeping those fingers. Lift the head and let's come back to center, walking the hands back to that center spot and take a moment in neutral in your child's pose. Noticing the left side of your body in contrast to the right side. Lift the head, walk the hands to the right 10%. Let your head rest on the ground. Lift the head 10% more to the right. Keep those elbows lifted if you can. Keep your jaw relaxed. Lift the head and 10%. And lift the head and walk your hands back to the center. One more moment here in child's pose, and when you feel ready, we begin rocking Cobra. Inhaling up to your Cobra, hands and knees. Spread your collarbones. Exhale, sending hips back to your heels. And inhale forward. Exhale back. Close your eyes and practice being in tune with your pelvis. Visualizing your bones, your hips, your sits bones, your tailbone, your pubic bone, your sacrum, all of these pieces of your anatomy that all connect. These huge bones that all work together to hold your entire body in place, that are going to help you birth your baby. Once you get back to your hands and knees, let's come up onto our shins. So we're kind of standing up on our knees, up on our shins. Hands to your hips, and just check in with your pelvis, find neutral, and even consider leaning back slightly so that you can feel your brakes switching on in your shins or in your feet. You kind of lean back and that switches on your deep core muscles at the same time. Feeling nice and tall and strong. Maybe just scanning your body quickly here for any tension, and think about how you can release that tension. Maybe you send a breath there. Maybe you need to lean a little to the right or to the left or forward or back. Maybe there's a chin that needs to be tucked or shoulders that can be dropped. And let us do our lunging. Bring the right leg out to the right in that 90-degree angle. And make sure your right foot is scooched out enough to the right that if you were to lunge to the right, your knee is not going to go past your toes. So you can just adjust the position of your foot if your knee goes past your toes. And take it slowly. Let's do this kind of with control, as opposed to going into your full range of motion and trying to stretch all of this out. We can just move really consciously and not overdoing that full extension. We don't need to go into a full lunge. We just want to be able to move. Just to let all of the fascia and the muscles and the ligaments and the tendons and everything here in your groin and the leg to just gently stretch, but also tone and get stronger. Maybe with your eyes open this time, you can visualize how your pelvis is moving here, how your pelvic floor is stretching, how one side perhaps is stretching more than the other, how this beautiful big net of fascia and muscles is being kind of contorted in this position. And then maybe also consider how many times a day you do this, you get into this position. Maybe not as often as we should through pregnancy. If this is going to be something that we want kind of supple and toned in all directions to help to kind of birth our baby. And also to kind of, what's the word? How do I be tender with this? To ensure that we have it bounce back after baby makes its way through. Let's go to the other side. You can come down to your hands and knees to bring that right leg down and then bring the left leg out. And just before you start lunging, just take a moment to feel. Just feel what's going on in that right leg, in the right side of your pelvic floor. And also notice if that right hip is tucked in and pulled up, or is it kind of hanging out to the side? Can you ensure that it's lifted and pulled in and up before you start the leg? I'm wearing a really yummy essential oil blend called Balance, which has all these like floral, lovely smells in it. And it's just so luxurious to be breathing in and out through my nose as I move and just embodying those smells of spring, of flowers, of blooming. What can you smell right now? I think we're kind of balanced, right? We've done this enough on the left side compared to the right. So come back to your hands and knees and go back to the right again, please. Take a moment to feel. Take a moment to check that that left hip is in and not slouched out. And once you're there, bring your right hand onto the inside of your right knee. And we can lean over slightly, kind of like threading that hand down towards your right foot, keeping length in your spine. And then you can lift the left hand up and you can look up. A gentle open twist. Can you press into your right big toe? Put weight into the outside edge of the right foot and the center of your right heel. And the top of your left foot presses into the ground. Lean back slightly. Look down at your right hand. Left hand floats down towards your left hip. Right hand floats up. Reach up. reaching down with the left hand while you reach up with the right. Grounding through both of your legs. Feeling for neutral through the center line. Everything sucking in to that center line. And then release the right hand down. Come back down to your hands and knees and we'll do the other side. Oh, maybe do a few cat-cows if you like, or move your hips in the process. My hips are like, oh my God, really? You just did that? It was awesome. And then back up on your left leg out to the side. Feel for neutral. Feel for that right hip sucking in. Left hand presses against the inner left knee. And then you can slide, kind of thread it down to the left slightly, not overstretching that right side. You want to keep length and you want to kind of keep a straight line going up through your spine so we're not trying to like tip over. And as you feel that you've got your balance, lift that right hand up, looking up at the ceiling. If that feels like way too much right now, you can look down at the floor if you prefer. Press the back right foot into the ground, maybe leaning back slightly. The big toe on the left foot. Outside edge of foot. The heel, the center of the heel on the left foot. Look down at your left hand if you're not looking down already, and let your right hand float down to your right side slowly. And then lift the left hand up, following the thumb with your gaze if you like, and looking straight ahead, chin tucked, relaxed neutral neck, reaching up with that left hand, palm turned in if you can. And right hand reaching down, extend your fingers, spread your palm. Going back to that sensation at the beginning of the class of your head feeling light, your spine feeling long, and your pelvis softening and melting into the floor. Let the left hand float down. Bring your hands to the floor. Coming into cat-cow and either rocking cobra or birth wave, please. Just rocking back and forward. If you're wanting to do birth wave, then knees are wide, toes are touched, and as you come forward on your forearms and then press up into the cobra. Round the spine, drop the tailbone, send the hips back to the heels, forward on the forearms, up to cobra, round the spine, back to your heels. Now let's slowly make our way to our feet when you're ready. Noticing your habitual leg, that is your dominant leg that wants to lift you up, or coming up through a squat. Nice one, Stephanie. And trying to come up in a way you don't normally come up, just so that we can get some diversity. Once you're up, let's get our picking up the baby pose out of the way. You know, not that we have to get it out of the way. It's a wonderful thing to do, right? Heel, toe, feet out, one leg length apart, toes pointing out at that 45-degree angle. And then we sink down into a squat, reaching down, lifting up. And if it's spring for you right now, like it is for me, maybe even if it's not, let's imagine that we are planting in the soil and making an offering to the sun. Feel for the soil, the cold mud or sand or dirt in your hands as you lift it up and offer to the sunshine. And imagine that sunshine warming your fingers and then bringing that heat, that photosynthesis down to the plants on the ground. Something I've been working on that I'm really conscious of, because I try and squat a lot through the day. As whatever opportunity I have to squat, I squat. And I've noticed that when I'm not really paying attention, one side dominates. So if you watch me, I'll go down like this, and I don't even realize that's how it feels in my body. And now I'm looking at it on the screen going, whoa, there's so much asymmetry in that, right? And so just, you can probably feel it while you're being really conscious. Both legs are bending at the same time, and you're going up and down in this beautiful symmetry. But how does that extend into your day-to-day movements? And can you be really mindful of trying to keep that symmetry throughout the day? After your next one, let's come back to neutral, please. And either a block or a chair out in front of you, either a block on its highest setting or a chair, table that you can use to bend over. It's basically, we'd love to be able to have your head connect with something in a forward fold. So if a block is going to be high enough for you to kind of come down and eventually perhaps stack your hands like this to be down in a forward fold, or a chair just might be better. But don't rush into it. Don't rush into it. Take your time. Let's start with our hands on hips. I really like to set this up well so that we can properly stack everything before we relax. So hands on hips, chin tucked. Feel your sternum lifted and spreading. Ribs tucked down towards your hips so you can feel like a connection, like a rubber band is pulling those two things together. But can you also feel for your multifidi, or your tailbone is kind of lifting up your back? You're not pushing your bum back, but just kind of feel for a lift up through your lower back. If you can't feel anything happening, it's all good. Just think about it, because you're creating neural pathways. And once you've got all of that and your feet feel nicely rooted and planted, and can you feel the inner arches of your feet kind of lifting slightly? Let's tip forward, bending at the hips, not at the waist, keeping a long, strong spine. Spine is straight, and find your block or find your chair. And keep your spine is parallel with the floor for a couple of breaths, allowing for your hamstrings to cotton on to what's happening here. Feel for your sits bones spreading and lifting. But keep those ribs tucked. If you feel like you're creating a back bend, can you lift the ribs up and let the belly relax? And then gradually sink a little deeper until you feel like your head can connect with something, maybe your forearms, maybe your fists. And this isn't a competition to see who can get lowest to the ground. And how many times a day do you get to be in this position? With your body upside down, parallel to the floor, letting your belly relax. I'd love us to all take 3 more really deep, gentle, conscious breaths, watching the breath in and watching the entire breath out, and even watching that moment of stillness at the end of the exhale before we breathe back in. On your next breath in, press into your block or your chair to straighten your spine, lifting it to become parallel with the floor again. Take a long breath here. Heel toe your feet in under your hips, please. Bend your knees, bring your hands to your thighs, and then keeping your spine straight, press into your feet to stand up. Once you're up, feel for how grounded you are right now. Notice the sensations in your body as you adjust to being upright. Bend the knees gently, just a little, and inhale, hands out and up. Circle sweeping those hands out and up. Palms together above your head and then down to your heart. Bend the knees gently, reach out and up. Stretching up and then hands back to your heart. Inhaling out and up. I love my body. Hands to your heart. I love my baby. Reach out and up, this time clasping fingers when you get to the top and pressing palms up towards the ceiling. Draw your shoulder blades down your spine, tuck your ribs in. Tick-tock a little, weight into one foot and then the other foot. Breathing gently. No strain, no force. And then releasing the hands, floating them back down to your sides. Grab hold of a block or something else that you can squeeze between your legs. Squeeze them nice and tight. And once you're set up in your Tadasana here, can you lift your toes and spread them? Notice what happens in your kneecaps when you do that. Do your kneecaps lift along with them? And can you let your kneecaps and your toes relax when you drop your toes back down? Just being little, geeks, little body geeks. Looking at for all the little nuances of stimulating one part of your body as you move a different part of your body. And bending those knees a little, sending your bum back. And straightening your legs again. I know it's not much, right? Or is it? Bending the knees, feeling your quads switching on, and then straightening the legs. Keep squeezing the block. Breathe, bend the knees. Stay here. Looking for your knees not going past your toes. Can you try and keep your shins so that they are they're perpendicular, adjacent to the floor, straight up and down. Not parallel with the floor, the opposite of that. Send your bum back. Keep squeezing that block. Smiling helps, right? We just can't take ourselves too seriously. My goodness gracious me. This is a very serious practice though. Yoga, very important, but Can't take it all too seriously, because honestly, we really just need to move our body in weird ways. Like that's what yoga's asking us to do. Move it into non-conforming ways mindfully. And get used to working with things like discomfort, like what we're doing right now. How's your chair pose going? Maybe we can reach our hands out front. Maybe hands together at your heart. Maybe sinking a little bit lower. And let's straighten those legs out. Okay, that's enough, Blair. Seriously. Let's bring the block behind us. And depending on your shoulders and your arms, you might find what we're going to aim for is straightening our arms. Okay, so you might be able to have the block on its thinnest setting with straight arms behind you without doing these ones. So we don't want to have to do a back bend. I want your body in neutral, and I want your arms behind you straight and long. And for most of us, the widest setting is going to be about as far as we can go, and it might help to kind of hold on to the block and press it against your sacrum or against your bum without letting your belly billow out. So we're not sucking the belly in, we're tucking the ribs in, keeping the belly relaxed. And one day, maybe when you're less pregnant, we can hold our palms together. And this, my friends, is how we create yoga arms and strengthen our biceps. I mean triceps, the back guys. Let's just breathe into this a couple more times. Squeeze the block if you can. Not constantly, just little pulses. And release that block. Pop it down. Get rid of it. Don't worry, we're not going to do any more of that work. Let's just relax. Let go of any tension. And come on down to the floor, please, in a wide-legged position. Once your legs are out comfortably wide, flex your toes, drawing them back towards you. Make your feet smile. Imagine there's a big smiley face on the balls of your feet. Just, big smile in your feet. Hi. And can you look at your feet and imagine the toes spreading like a hand? You can imagine they can open and close like a hand. And I personally am really good at my right foot, and left foot just still doesn't cooperate. But you know, Stephanie, clearly you're fine. You're good. Yeah, no. One foot, the right foot. Interesting. Are you right-handed? I wonder if there's something going on there. You know, a really random thing I have noticed in my body, because I have a lot of right side issues. And I've noticed if I relax my right eyebrow, then the rest of my body relaxes. Crazy, right? I mean, that's what 10 whatever plus years of yoga practice will do, is like make you conscious of like how your eyebrow affects your shoulder. But maybe just notice that, like how many times a day are your eyebrows lifted up, and how does that correspond to your shoulders shrugging up and feeling tense? So your feet are still flexed, right? Your legs are pressing into the ground. You're like relaxing your eyebrows. Okay, eyebrows down. Down eyebrows. Brrr. Actually, let's do that. Let's like furrow our brows, like furrow, and like make a little really mad, cute face. Like, ooh, I'm all squished up and I'm really like, I'm like a 2-year-old who is like throwing a tantrum. Scrunch it all up, and then you can relax it and smile. And notice where your eyebrows go. Like my right eyebrow literally just tried to pop up as I relaxed my face. So I'm like, okay, relax. Okay, so we've just done a bunch of work in our legs. Let's relax our legs, bring them back in to center, and give them a little kick, a little kind of flutter. Do a little windshield wiping side to side. You might need to lean back to do that, just to relax at the hip joint. Now, looking at your feet and seeing them wobble side to side, can you keep your legs rocking side to side like that, but can you originate the movement from your hip joint as opposed to from your ankle? Because your feet are probably in control here. Maybe it's your eyebrows. Maybe your eyebrows are what's moving your feet. So can you relax your eyebrows and also relax your feet and tell your hips to move the leg? It's really hard to do. Your feet are completely passive. Let's come into Baddha Konasana. So feet come together. Bring your hands to the soles of your feet and spread them as if they are pages of a book. Give them a little massage so that perhaps you could be even turning your foot so that the big toes, the top of the big toes may one day touch the floor. And then massage your ankles. Massage your shins, your calf muscles, the fronts of your knees, the tops of your knees. Try not to giggle. Your inner thighs, maybe under your hamstrings. Really get in there. And the tops of your quads, all the way up to your hips. And once you've done that, I just want you to kind of run your hands down your legs and over your toes as if you're kind of releasing any negative energy or tightness or whatever that's going on in your lower half of your body that might be kind of creating tension, and just get rid of it, shake it off, shake it off. Like it's like you're kind of wiping it all off and getting rid of it. And then let's sit comfortably, whatever that means for you, crossing your legs, coming back to that relaxed place we were in 40 minutes ago at the beginning of class. Hands together at your heart or on baby. Close your eyes, relax your jaw. Visualize your breath sending white light, sparkly light toward your womb. Feel that white light circulating through your womb space and then expanding through your body. Sending sparkles down through your legs, up through your lower back, the sides of your body, your ribs, in and around your heart space, up into your shoulders, up the back of your neck, and filling your beautiful mind with sparkles and light. And as you breathe in, you can feel all of that light expanding. And I would like to leave you in a resting pose, please, before you move on with your day. Either staying here in meditation for about 5 minutes or taking a break on your side in flapping fish, setting yourself up with some pillows, laying on your left side and relaxing. And I have to run because I've just realized it's time for postnatal yoga, which we could do this all day long. But I'm going to leave you, but please, that is my homework for you, is to either sit in meditation for another couple of minutes with your baby or lay down in Shavasana and relax. Namaste. Love you. Let's see if I can actually end this. Here we go.